Hey guys, James here today and welcome to another speed build video. This is another future styled house because I really enjoyed doing the last one. So I thought I'd do another one. This one's a bit smaller and a bit more straightforward in its design. You'll see it develop right before your eyes so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I don't even know why I mentioned that. But yeah, so you can see how it develops right there. Start off with a big square just because I need that for support. And then obviously we end up with those four sort of columns. And you'll see where the name suspended comes from in just a moment. Because originally you can see here, the columns are actually joined to the house. But later on, they're not. So yeah. Hence the name suspended. That was a great description by myself. This was originally going to be a one-story house, and by that I mean like one livable level. But when I did a second story, I was like, hey, that looks kind of good. That looks kind of good. I might use that. So along the same lines of the Pod Alpha build, I did a similar sort of styled roof. So it's got kind of like the stages and the walls and the little fence and the solar panels and the skylights. And it matches really nicely with it in terms of style. Obviously, design is different, well, entirely different for the building, which is probably quite clear. But yeah, so it matches in terms of style with the other house, which is pretty good. And yeah, it's basically a house along the same lines, but just different shape. Different approach, I guess. And as you can see now, the columns are joined directly to the roof rather than the building. So like it holds up the roof and then the roof is holding the building. And the kind of idea behind this was that it's the future and maybe they've run out of space. So they have these kind of houses. And the idea like I had behind it was that if you had a house like this, you could just stack them on top of each other. And I got that obviously from like the mega towers in SimCity, Cities of Tomorrow, like how they have this giant stackable segments. Obviously these aren't giant, but the idea was that this would be a stackable housing segment, so then you could have multiple different families on one kind of lot. Anyway, that was the idea behind it, that inspiration, that would be a little stackable segment, because in the future they've run out of space, in my future anyway, so I've decided they've run out of space. But here I am doing some detailings with the constrained floor elevation cheat, and you can see it gets kind of finicky around the joint here. So I have to sort of level it up like that, and I do a lot of like leveling tricks to sort of make it work. But I think it looks quite nice in the end. At least I think it looks quite nice in the end. Not sure if it actually does, but you be the judge of that one. That's entirely up to you. So I'm flattening it down. You can see like those things there that are on the outside of the wall, how they're sort of going up. The idea with that was because it's hanging from the roof, they're kind of like sort of a joint it's holding it there. And then obviously I'm doing the same thing on the roof here, on the rooftop. So that joint, the idea was that these are all just kind of ideas to sort of give it a feel of it could be possible to build. Whether it is, probably not. But that's regardless. Anyway, so they're kind of like a little support structure. That was the idea behind those. And you'll see how those look in just a moment. And you can see they sort of like ramp up to the roof. And then the idea is that they go through that and then they hold the building on. So it's kind of like a nice little support strut. And then I do a similar thing in the center here that I did on the roof of Pod Alpha. You can see the walls come down, and then I do some little skylights rather, and solar panels, which will be coming in soon. The majority of the time in this build is spent on the exterior of the house, mainly the roofing probably, because it does take a long time actually to sort of just like, it takes a long time because you got to fiddle around with the cheat and all the walls, and it just kind of gets tedious, but I think it looks pretty cool in the end. That's pretty much the basic roof design done at this point, and then I just obviously detailing, give it the colors and all that. And I totally followed a similar idea in the other one as well, because I liked it. So basically the house is like white. Everything's like white and a bit of like black here and there. But then the color comes through the lighting in the house. And this time I didn't include any nighttime screenshots because just so there's a little bit of surprise when you like, well, not surprise, but a little bit of a reveal when you download the house for yourself and look at it at nighttime in game, because it looks pretty damn nice. I mean, I guess you will kind of see it in the build, but it will be sped up, so it'll be kind of hard to see. But you get an idea of it. So yeah, there's that idea. And for getting upstairs, for some reason, I don't know why it took me so long to realize that the little tube thing was in the elevator section. I was like, oh, it's going to be in elevators, because I was looking for it in stairs, looking in spiral stairs. Then I found it was in elevators, which made sense. Yeah, so I used those little tube thingers to access the house. I had to. Oh, I didn't have to. I did them on both sides, like on the two front columns of the house, because one for symmetry, and two because then Sims don't get like sort of jammed trying to get up into the house, and it should work pretty decently. I had to do that little bridge there on that level, in between level, because otherwise the little tube wouldn't place, like it wouldn't let me skip the level, so I had to put that bridge there, but it looks okay in the end, so it's no worries. Here we go, choosing the colors of the house. It's kind of like the columns supposed to be like a big concrete sort of support, so that's what they're going with, a nice white clean concrete, sort of like mirror's edge. Everything in the city is white. So most of the houses, yeah, that white sort of grey colour, and you can see there was just a cut there where I left and I came back. And these we're gonna, I think I started off with blue. Yeah, I did do a blue, but then I changed it to that sort of turquoise aqua colour again, that everything else in the future uses. See, I had that blue at first, and I thought it looked quite nice, but I guess I was just like, it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the future, because they kind of use that sort of more turquoisey colour rather than a blue. I mean, I guess it's kind of used, but I used the turquoise in the end, and it looked all right, so I was happy with that. So we used that nice color there, that like really bold, sort of strong color, nice and bright. That's pretty much the only color that comes in terms of like anything other than lighting, really. I mean, there's a coloring on a few things in the house, but most of it is pretty much white, and I like the idea behind that. That it comes alive at night. I think that's a pretty cool thing. Just doing the roof. As I said, the roof takes a long time, and we're still on the exterior of the house, as I said, because the interior isn't that big. Again, it's ideally a 2-sim house like the last one was, even though this one is considerably smaller than, oh, actually, I don't know. The livable space might be about the same as the other house, actually. I don't know. But I guess the footprint of the house is much smaller than the other one, because this is on a 20 by 20 lot. So yeah, it'll fit on any 20 by 20, and you can sort of just dot it around anywhere you want. But yeah, so it's pretty small. That was the idea, like I said before, like sort of a small, easily replicated house. So they would just make, the idea behind it was they would just make like the sections of the house. Because, you know, like in real life, they have like those sort of container houses that they use like shipping containers. They refurbish them and turn them into houses. And then they just use that, and they can make heaps and heaps of houses out of it. Basically, that was the idea. Like, they would just make the same segment for every house and then sort of just plop it down. A kind of a kit house, I guess, was the idea. Whether I pulled it off, I don't know. Anyways, I think we're no, I'm doing more building. Because I was like, I could furnish, but I don't really want to, so let's do more building. So I added these little things down the bottom of the house, which are kind of like, which you'll see, like, that's how they end up, by the way, like on that sort of slant there. It was kind of like, I guess, a stabilizer kind of thing, like a stand, just an extra sort of support for the house. That's the idea. Yeah, so I add those in. I think that's the last, like, sort of element I actually add to the exterior, besides, obviously, the underneath of the house, which is like a carport. I use that for 2 cars, so you can get 2 cars in this. You could even change it into something else. I was going to do a pool underneath the house, but then I decided against it. No particular reason, just because. That was the reason, just because. But yeah, it fits 2 cars quite nicely. You could probably fit a 3rd car, actually, if you really wanted to. But yeah, you could also do a pool under there. There's plenty of space. You can just get rid of the cars if you don't really need them, or you can move the cars further back. Anything like that. There's a ton of space down there. You can see I just did 2 parking spots. And we are moving on to the interior now. About more than halfway through the video now. Yeah, like I said, the exterior was the majority of the work on this house. Deciding what windows to put, I used these windows, which are actually base game windows. So I was going to use circle windows, and I was like, it doesn't really fit on this house. And then that wall glitched out. And then we did some flooring. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to use the circle windows again, but it didn't really fit this house. I figured those sort of, those base game windows there that I used, they fit much nicer. Now, the idea on the interior was the downstairs floor is obviously like your day-to-day stuff, and then upstairs is where the bedroom is. The upstairs is only actually half a level. It was kind of like a balcony level. I thought it was kind of cool. And it overlooks the living area of the house, which I think is quite nice. And it means you can have Sims over on the main level and have them entertaining, and then they wouldn't be going into your bedroom. I don't know. I just kind of like that idea because I didn't need to use the whole upper floor, but that also means that you could expand the house. You could even probably fit another couple bedrooms in there. So you could probably have a whole family in this house if you really wanted. I don't know how practical it would be to have more than 2 Sims in here in terms of traffic jams of Sims everywhere. But I guess that's something that remains to be seen. Again, we go for a nice small kitchen that just uses the synthesizer and the drinks synthesizer as well. I was originally going to cut, like you can see here, I was coloring these seats, and you'll see me do a dining table as well with colored seats. But then I was like, hang on a second, I'm doing way too many seats everywhere because like the way this was like furnished, it was designed for 2 Sims. I'm like, there's way too many seats here. There's like 8 seats there. I did like the idea of coloring all the chairs like that. And I did like the colorful effect, but it didn't really fit in with this house. So maybe in the future, into the future, no pun intended. That was entirely intended, actually. But maybe in the future, down the line, I'll do a house that's more colorful, like purposely colorful, just like lots of colors, just because. Probably be a future house just to sort of, I guess, I don't know, fit in a bit. I don't know. We'll see where we go with that. Yeah, ended up with a small kitchen. I kept those little stools there, and I did a smaller dining table over in the corner there. I did end up putting another foosball table in this house. And that was only because I didn't know what to put in the spare, like, corner of the house. Which, of course, is very easy to change if you want to put something else. I was going to put, like, drums or something in there, but I thought that was kind of weird. So I just did a foosball table. And I was going to use these lighting things. And I almost did. But then I noticed when you go to the level above, when you go upstairs, it actually clips through the floor. And you can see it through the floor, and it's like glitching, and it was really annoying, so I got rid of it. I did use these like light beams here though. I use those, and they look pretty cool. So I use them all in all the corners, and it sort of just carried up the light like that. They don't actually emit any light, but they look kind of cool. So I use those. Yeah, to get rid of those because they clip through the floor. So as you can see, like I was saying before, it is very white on the inside once more, and that was kind of the idea. And then we introduce all the color with the lighting in the house. But first, we must furnish. Use this cool little sort of modular sofa again. I think it's quite nice. And I removed 2 pieces to put little end tables in between, so you can have your drinks. And it's all cool. The TV goes in that little diagonal section, and a little circle coffee table. So everybody has somewhere to put their drink. That's always handy. Yeah, this is where I was searching for something. I was like, what can go in this corner? There's nothing. And then I was like, I'm not doing a double-story bookcase. It's kind of silly. So I gave up, got some cars, some future cars, which I think are pretty expensive, but you could just get rid of them. And I still haven't done the corner. I've just moved on to the bathroom because I didn't know what to do. And like I said, I just ended up with a foosball table. And that was a really blue room just then. Like really blue. That's a nicer blue there. Yeah, so the bathroom's a nice sort of blue color, relaxing. So you can relax your bowels and let it all loose. Let your worries just flow straight out of you. And then the rest of the colors aren't really based on anything. I don't know, orange, hunger. I don't know. I guess I only associate it with hunger because of the Hunger Games, kind of that yellowy orange color. I don't know. pathetic color associations I'm using. But anyways, and I just did blue over by the dining table because they look nice. Pretty much I just did colors that were nice and different. Purple by the TV for no particular reason. Then I did green over in the other corner just to add another color to the mix, give it more color. And like I said, you can see the colors here. But when you look at it in game for yourself, looking at all the colors sort of playing around. I mean, like colors mixing together with the light. It looks really cool. Yeah, still looking for something. I'm like, all right, foosball table it is again. Because I really wanted a futuristic object to place there, not just like a regular object, because the future objects match a lot nicer with future houses. Of course, you can put whatever the hell you want in there. It doesn't really matter. I was going to do a red color, but then I was like, red is like associated with sort of like anger. And I mean, I guess the idea behind it was like romantic red, but then I was like, it's not calming though. Blue is calming, so I changed it to a blue color instead, a light blue, because I felt that looks much nicer. Anyways, there you go. You can see all the colors downstairs there. But yeah, so colors introduced through the lighting once more, which I think just works fantastically, like for the future houses. But the next house I have on my agenda, I believe, is a regular house. So I mean, I'll probably do future houses again in the future, but the next house will be a regular sort of home. I had an idea for it, but I can't remember what it was. And I was going to build it, but I forgot what I was doing. I don't know. Anyways, next house isn't going to be future, in case you want to see more other houses, more regular houses, I guess would make more sense. Anyways, jumping into the pictures, into the screenshots right about now. There we go. There's the front of the house. You can see a bit of the roof there and the base of the supports on the columns. Obviously, I've moved the house now into Oasis Landing. Before I was building in Sunset Valley, but now it's in Oasis Landing. So you can see how it fits in with the surrounds. There's the underneath with the carport. There's the back of the house. Pretty much the house is the same on all sides. It's very symmetrical on the exterior. Here's an upper shot. You can see the bedroom at the top and everything below. Go into another bedroom shot there. You can see up in the roof there, those are actually skylights. They're not holes in the roof. Don't worry, they're skylights. There's the kitchen area, and you can see the lounge room in the back. We've got the sort of dining and the like a recreation area with a random foosball table. Why not? Another shot there just along the sort of lower level. There's the bathroom, nice and blue. I really do like the color in the bathroom. Looks really nice. Then I think exterior, just a nice shot of the roof. You can see how the roof is similar to the last build. And then we have a few floor plan screenshots just so you can see how it's all laid out. But that is about it for me today. Thank you guys for watching this building video. Be sure to check out my others if you haven't. And have an awesome day.